Hello, good morning to you. Many thanks for joining us. You're watching Galaxy today, coming to you from Galaxy Television. Our focus on the show today is on education, specifically the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Now, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board's JAM has begun the biometric verification of the 1.8 million candidates who sat for this year's Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. It was further learned that the exercise embarked upon by the board was responsible for the delay in releasing the UTME result conducted from April 18 to April 11 to 18 rather. The board has already carried out biometric verification of candidates in 31 states. It is presently verifying those of candidates from 6 other states. All right, JAM Registrar Professor Ishaq Olede confirmed this to newsmen in Abuja yesterday. He said the board was cross-checking everything pertaining to the conduct of the examination, including fingerprints of candidates. Professor Olede, who did not list the state the board has so far verified the fingerprint of candidates, said, quote, "We are cross-checking everything, including fingers. If you know that you have about 1.8 million candidates multiplied by 10, that is the finger we're talking about." All right, asked when the board would release the result of the UTME, the registrar said, "I don't know, but it will be very soon as we complete what we're doing." Welcome once again. My name is Justin Akadonye.
And of course, he's with Uche Onyekuluje. Good morning and welcome to Galaxy today. Like you rightly said, we're looking at the matters arising from the 2019 UTME. And of course, to be part of this program, all you need to is make comments or ask questions through the number that will be written on the screen. And of course, you can as well follow us on our social media handles using hashtag Galaxy today. The program is going to be all educative this morning. We have a guest at the studio here in Lagos and of course from our outstations. And we do know that it's going to be very educative as you tune in. Okay, Justin, just before we go deep into today's topic, I just want you to reflect back at when you had, it wasn't UTME in your own days, it was UME, yes, okay. So now, what came to mind when you heard about the matters arising? What immediately came to your mind?
Well, the thing is that a lot of things have changed. You know, back in the day, I actually wrote the UME in 1997. Yes, that's when I left high school. You know, and then it was the usual pencil shading and everything.
Yes, yes,
you know,
yes.
and it didn't used to take so long for results to be released, but right now things have changed. What they now do is computer-based test, CBT. You know,
which would be easier for compilation of results.
Yeah, should be easier. And I mean, you can actually get result almost immediately.
Yes.
You know, but the truth is that the CBT has come not without its own challenges. A lot of people are complaining. You know, sometimes the student themselves may not even been able to use the computers, plus internet issues and all of that. But you know, I think it is something that we need to talk about. It is something that we need to address because right now there's a whole lot of examination malpractice, you know, daring in this particular CBT. And of course, from reports we're hearing that lots of people have been arrested over UTME, you know,
examination malpractices
exactly. And everything. It is really,
and it's
really,
funny
really
to
terrible.
see that the malpractice, I mean, in our own days too, it was that way. They said there was lots of malpractices. But I thought with the introduction of this technology and this, it should have subsided. I mean, gone are the days where you have to go look for your center, and then when you get your center, you have to go find out where it's situated to avoid, you know.
Yeah, I have to do all of that. Yeah.
You know, it was stressful, but now it's
right
easy.
now, it don't even make matters worse. You know, parents and guardians, you know, they now even aid, you know, cheating and malpractice. They help, you know, their wards and their children, you know, just to pass at all costs. Or some of them, you know, one of the reasons they tend to say is that it is really very expensive. They wouldn't want them to come and do over and over again just because of the cost implication. But anyway, we'll talk about that. We have guests here across Lagos and Nigeria. But let's take reactions before we come to introduce our guest in Lagos. Let us take reaction from the fallout of the last UTME that just happened last month. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
JAMB is not necessary. They should dissolve JAMB. And then universities should handle the exam like before. Instead of subjecting our children to double examination. And JAMB is not doing better than the universities. The universities know the quality. You know, it will even the universities will do it better because they will want to have their own quality. But this time, JAMB will do all what they want and send to universities. So I am suggesting that JAMB should be disbanded.
The basic problem with Nigeria has always been a somersault of policies. We do not have a system that guarantees a smooth, fluid movement of policies and ideas as per implementation.
If you are using computer, you are marginalizing those from the villages. One, they don't have light. Some villages, some young people in the villages have never seen computer. If they go back to paper, better for them. At least you will see the papers. This one, computer, is garbage in, garbage out. You don't know what they have put in there. You know, the computers may not even be working. You have heard about even our election card readers, some are not working. And so, if something is not working, it's not working. And if it's not working, it affects the entire exam and the entire result.
My sincere opinion is for JAMB to generally cancel whatever it is they think they have done and then start afresh, look at their strengths and their weaknesses and identify the best way to do a JAMB exam that will capture, incorporate, and take care of the teeming Nigerian students. That, for me, is the way forward.
They have this advice for the examination board.
If you want to put somebody as a registrar of JAMB, you should put somebody that is technologically advanced, somebody that is ICT compliant, somebody that understands the issues of the moment as far as computer and everything concerning computer is involved.
Computerization is not something that happens overnight. There must be a stopgap period. There must be a period of, say, incubation or orientation or whatever, whereby people are taught and more people get aware and get used to the new system before it can work. You just don't come in the middle of the day, bah, you want to scrap, according to them, the business centers, you want to, for whatever reason, without thinking, without making sure that on ground that you have put in place a new process, a new system that will take care of whatever lapses that you want to correct.
Welcome back. It is still Galaxy. Today you just had reactions, from concerned and worried Nigerian parents there reacting to the 2019 UTME. In our Lagos studio, let's welcome Dr. Peter Ogudoro. He is an educational consultant and a renowned public relations consultant. Many thanks for joining us on Galaxy today.
It's my pleasure.
Dr. Ogudoro, we've talked about tertiary institutions in this forum several times. We've also talked about matriculation examinations. But let us start by this. I read a very intriguing report and worrisome at that. The 5 suspects from Zamfara and Kebbi state were arrested for engaging in exam malpractice during the 2019 UTME, and they've been jailed between 3 to 2 years. Over time we have talked about curbing the issue of exam malpractices, but one would have thought that with the introduction of the CBT, that it would be like a story of yesterday.
No, it cannot be. In fact, this is going to make it worse. The reason why it will make it worse is that, as you say, it's garbage in, garbage out. Yes. We are deceiving ourselves. This country is not an advanced society. We make no computer here. We haven't got reliable electricity supply. This entire building now is being held by a generator. We haven't got broadband internet access that will enable us to achieve what we want to achieve in a globalized world. Okay. And of course, we also haven't got the manpower. People who have the right skills, who have the right knowledge, and who have the right values, who are professionally minded to do the jobs they have been employed to do in the way that will enable the society to move forward. We are also a very poor society. Until recently, minimum wage here was 18,000 naira. As a matter of fact, they have not even implemented that. It was just passed into law. 18,000 naira is under $100, which is the kind of money an undergraduate in England or America receives in a day, combining work with his studies. So we are very poor. So you establish computer-based centers. You don't own them. You are government. You are JAM. You are any other institution that may come to your mind. You say this is the way you want to go, and you are going to attend to close to 2 million young people in Nigeria. Many of them come from rural communities who were not trained with computer. And all of a sudden you say everybody has to write exam with computer. You haven't prepared them through the education system for the challenges they're going to meet. And so you don't own these laboratory test centers, the computer test centers. And so you borrow these places from private businessmen who import these computers. We know that the average businessman has gone into business to make profit. So he is not going to get the best of computers in a country where there's poverty. And you don't pay them well. You give them maybe 700 naira per candidate that passes through their system. And then you keep the bulk of the money. And so these people have got to find a means of making up for the shortfall in the income that they are looking for. And so we know that it's a country where you can't completely trust the average businessman here. He has to first and foremost, prove that he is not stupid. Because that money he's using to go into laboratory, this computer thing, he can put it in the stock exchange and do nothing and make profit at the end of the day. So with all of these challenges, you discover that it was wrong for us to insist on moving this way at the time we did. The idea here is that we can't keep waiting forever. We have to start now and learn and keep moving forward. No, you can't use the future, the fate, the life, the potentials of young people to experiment. That's a very wrong thing to do. And then by the time you move into the matter, you also discover that you have brought up these young people to believe that without university degree, that they cannot be successful. Because that's what we tell them by the way we conduct ourselves. Most of the people who are in the Senate, in the House of Reps, who are governors, who are members of the House of Assembly, they are all university graduates. So the role models they see are people who possess university degrees, whether they earn them or not. So everybody wants this matter. Everybody wants this certificate. And so, again, you now call it unified tertiary matriculation exam, where everybody going to College of Education, Polytechnic, and University have to write the same exam. But we know that minimum 98% of the people writing this exam indicate interest strictly in going to university, because that's what matters in Nigeria. Okay, if you're a product of a polytechnic and we ask you which school did you attend, most of the time when you want to introduce yourself or you are in education with your friends, you don't say when I was in a polytechnic, you say when I was in higher institution, because you don't want polytechnic to become something that everybody knows that's the place you are coming from. Because once you mention it, all the good sense you have made disappears, it evaporates, and people will no longer respect you. So that's the kind of environment that has presented the foundation for the problems that we have seen in our hands now. And so young men who have learned a few things about computer come to you and you are JAM and they tell you, we can make it happen, and you believe them. And unfortunately, the people who are running this system are not social scientists, okay? They are not economists, they are not social scientists. They don't understand how the brain of people work. Okay, so they take the brain of people who are coming from maybe Islamic studies and those kinds of disciplines. And they think that that's the kind of knowledge that they will use to run a society in these modern times. It will not work. The Nigerians will do everything to ensure that their children go to university. So we keep blaming them. Their parents are supporting their children. Why won't parents get their children to go to university when you have told them that without university education they cannot be successful? It's not just even going to university. We are also telling them that the only way you can make it now is for you to finish university with a 2-1 or minimum 2-1, first class 2-1. Otherwise, Shell and banks will not shortlist you for interview. So they have to cheat to get there. Unfortunately, we don't have enough spaces by their own claim to absorb all these young people who want to go to university. Okay? And you know what happens? It's simple human nature. When you can't get what you want legitimately, there's a tendency for you to look for illegitimate ways to get that. And so no matter how hard you try, you can't stop examination malpractice in Nigeria by the current systems we have in place. Go and ask anybody who is an educationist. That's my field. I have practiced it for over 3 decades. I have a PhD in it. My specialty is career management and development communication. Anybody deceiving you into believing that Professor Oloyede I know Ishak Oloyede is going to stamp out corruption via the things he's doing in the next 2 years. The person is doing himself because corruption did not start from JAM. The children who are cheating, okay, are children from parents who have been cheating, who taught them how to cheat right from kindergarten. Okay, they have been seeing their parents bring money home that they did not earn. They saw their parents buy admission into secondary school when they wrote common entrance examination. They have seen their parents, even cheat in schools to get teachers to give them high marks, especially with the private school system we have in place. So parents take gifts to teachers, and their children are given the best of marks. They win their awards, and they are celebrated. That's where these young people are coming from. And all of a sudden, you think you can use JAM to eliminate corruption in Nigeria. In the first place, this whole idea of we are checking, doing biometric tests and all of that, and we are trying to stamp out corruption. How are you going to do that? Is that the mandate of JAM? JAM was set up to give access to higher education in a way that will not permit multiple admissions. They have forgotten their mandate, and they are now operating as an anti-corruption agency. There is ICPC. That's their responsibility. Leave it for them. Do the job that the law has established you to do.
Okay, you've said a whole lot in a couple of minutes, but like you rightly said, that the root of all this is not just the root is very deep.
Yes,
is wired.
It's a systemic
okay,
problem.
but looking at the issue now, seeing that it looks like corruption has eroded, the children doesn't even know if this is corruption anymore, because that's what they grew to see. I'd like us to take it back to where. Okay, I know our times are different from maybe when you started writing and when you heard about JAM and where it is now.
You would take that, but we're getting signals for. Let's hear from JAM itself. We are being joined by the Zonal Coordinator, Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, Ibadan office. Many thanks for joining us. We have Olushola Kuye. Thanks for joining us on Galaxy today. We started the show, with reports from Nigerians, specifically parents, worried about, their children, not just getting results alone, but the issue of computer-based testing, the CBT. And over time, the board has assured Nigerians that the CBT is the best way to go. But bearing in mind all of these challenges that have fallen out from the CBT test, what has the board done to, ameliorate the plight, of students and, of course, that of parents who are equally concerned about these tests?
The issue of computer-based tests, which the board started with in the year 2013, has been of good benefit to not only to JAM, but to the society as a whole, because it has reduced to a barest minimum the level of examination malpractice. In those days, when the board was conducting the exam using paper and pencil, there were a lot of infractions, exam malpractice, both within and outside the exam hall. But these days, it's easier to track down exam malpractice even after the exam might have been conducted, which is what the board is really doing now by screening what actually happened at the point of registration before the exam, during the exam, and immediately after the exam, which is what is going on presently.
Practice, but reports we've been getting over time, not too long ago, there have been reports of people, in the north, Zamfara and some other state that they mentioned, who were actually arraigned for exam malpractice. And presently, the board, JAM that is actually doing a lot of verification because of issues. Can you run us through it? Let us know exactly what this verification exercise is all about, because Nigerians have actually expressed lots of concern. We need to know and be provided with the exact information of what the board is doing right now.
I may not be able to give a detailed explanation about the verification that is going on. But the little I can tell you now is that before the exam, during the registration, candidates data were captured, including biometric data. And this process was transparent enough to the extent that we used double screen while the person attending to the candidate was doing the data capturing. The candidate also was monitoring about every information that was being input for him or her. In addition to that, this process was captured live, that other party or other group of people were monitoring what was going on during the registration. That's one. Two, during the exam, before the candidate were moving to the exam hall, which we normally call BVN verification, this process was captured also on CCTV and the exam hall. And I believe that many of these candidates, perhaps they were not aware that they were being monitored live, both the candidates and the officials attending to them. They were being monitored live, what was happening. And I believe that's what is going on, to really know what actually happened before the exam and the exam hall during the exam. It's not only for the exam official who was present at the exam hall to know what the candidate was doing, but it's other group of people monitoring both the candidate and the exam officials in the exam hall to know what happened during the exam.
Computer-based test, the CBT, because it is still prone to lots of challenges. For instance, let's talk about people who may want to write or who are writing from the hinterland, some people who are not really so computer literate. The board, actually factor all of those people into all of the CBT, before it was actually approved. And then again, there have been issues of maybe internet downtime. And don't you think that it is sort of disqualifying people ordinarily who may want to write, exams to get into tertiary institutions, but don't really have so much knowledge about computing?
Thank you, sir. The use of computer or writing CBT, computer-based test, is not about testing of knowledge of candidates of computer knowledge or computer literacy. Computer is just being used as a medium to deliver the questions to the candidate and also to ask the candidate to send back their response to the board. And the board has taken cognizance of somebody who has never even seen computer in his life. That's why this year we have an instruction manual, which is on the candidate's as rough sheet, something like this. A candidate just needs 9 keys on the keyboard to write his or her exam. I want to believe that every candidate at this level either must have seen or used handset before. Any candidate who can use handset GSM can easily write this CBT exam. Knowledge of computer or computer literacy is not mandatory.
Tell us more about the manual. You were going to show us the manual specifically, and you said 9 keys. What are these 9 keys? Just get a bit of an education, because some people, like you said, don't even have access to phones. I must tell you, some people in the villages who actually want to write, the UTME and don't have phones, and maybe even the phones they have sometimes. Permit me to say that the phones, the keyboard, the letters and on the keyboards are not even showing. That's the case. That's another case. But run us through it. This manual you're talking about. Are the candidates aware of this manual? What publicity did you do concerning all of that? And are you sure the messages were passed across?
This a sample of the instruction rough sheet I was talking about. At the point of entry into the exam hall, every candidate was given this. And the keys that I was talking about, we have A, B, C, D, X, Y, N, P, and R. Let me give more explanation on this. The options for the answers are A, B, C, D. After a candidate log in or use their registration number to have access to the question, the instructions are there. That if your option, the option you want to choose is A, you just look for the key for A on the keyboard and press it, just as you press your GSM device. And after doing that, if a candidate wants to move to the next question, he or she will look for N for next, and press N. That takes the candidate to the next question. Read the question, pick your option, and now press the alphabet for the option on the keyboard. That's how the candidate goes on to do that. Also, if a candidate wants to end the exam, the candidate will now see end the exam on the screen and press the end the exam. There will be a question that will pop up that, are you sure you want to end your exam? If its answer is yes, candidate need to press yes, which Y for yes. If you are not willing to go further to end your exam, you still want to go back, you press N for no. These are the letters I was talking about, and all these are explained on the instruction leaflet and also on the screen for the candidate.
Final question for you. I want you to address the issue of alleged corruption between a computer-based test, or what I call them owners, the places where this tests are being done. We've heard about issues of corruption. I don't know if your board, has actually, done their own investigation, and if you have, what have you been able to come up with, and what is the way forward?
With the conclusion now, the board is investigating this and they are getting their findings. By the time the board finish with this, I'm sure they'll be addressed to the public to know where and what happened in the course of the examination.
Just play one cheeky moves right now. As a candidate expecting to get a result anytime soon.
Sir? Hello?
Okay, we've been speaking with Olushola Kuye, Zonal Coordinator, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board in Ibadan, Oyo State. He joined us to talk about some of the challenges related to CBT and what the board is doing and has done concerning most of all those challenges. Many thanks once again, Mr. Kuye.
Okay, so you heard him, and I find some of the things he said was maybe not confusing, but not clear. I mean, he did say that they were given a sheet on how to write the exams. Okay, so and my question is, there's a part where names are supposed to be imputed, except if you sit on a system where your name and your number is already out. And I'm looking at a situation where he used GSM for crying out loud. Some people use phones that a button has about 4 letters written on it, and that's not what the computer keyboard is. Each keyboard has its own letter. Now, you were more like a consultant in this field. If you were to advise on the way forward to see that we combat this, what would you actually advise putting the rural people in mind, saying that he said that you don't need a computer knowledge to attempt this exam. Is that true? Putting the rural people in mind, do you think that we are ripe for this stage that we've just introduced into UTME?
I'm just trying to manage to stay, stable. The truth is that we live in a very unfair, inequitable, and unjust society.
Okay.
The majority of candidates who are writing this exam come from homes where computers don't exist. The average Nigerian child writing this exam doesn't own a smartphone. Some of them do own phones, but not the kind of phone that the people who have designed system have assumed. If you go to my village and see the level of poverty there, maybe you are lucky to come from one of the urban areas. But even in the urban areas, in this Lagos, in this Ikeja where we are, you'll be shocked to discover that the average Nigerian child in Ikeja is not as literate as the people who have put this system in place have assumed. Okay? Now, even himself, if you watch him, okay? If you watch him, you discover that when he was giving you the 9 keys, at some point, by the time he mentioned A, B, C, D, he had to look at his script to remember the rest. And that's somebody who has a computer in his office who has been using it for a very long time. He couldn't even remember simple things. And we know how computer works. The more you use it, the better you get at it. So the child who attends an international school, high-profile school, after some time, he doesn't even have to look at his computer to be able to carry on. It doesn't make him more intelligent than the child in the rural community. It doesn't make him more knowledgeable about the subject matter than the child in the rural community. But the child in the rural community who has never used computer before to do anything. And of course, we run public school system where there are no computers. We are aware of this. We don't have public libraries where you use, computer to search for literature, to study for your exams. And all of a sudden, you are brought in front of a computer and somebody in Abuja says they should be able to use it. We only need 9 keys. That's not how it works. Even with people like us who have studied in the advanced societies, or having up to a PhD in education, I tell you from time to time, it's my child who is only 15 years old who helps me to fix a lot of things. Okay? And they are lucky because their father has put a lot of money into them. And at the age of 19, they were, at the age of 9, each of my 2 children, they were already Microsoft certified. My children cannot go for a computer-based test. Okay. And then you bring a child in the rural community and those children do better than my children. Not necessarily because my children are more knowledgeable or because they are more intelligent, but because they have been using computer all their life.
Okay, doctor.
Okay?
Doctor, we'll come
so
back
these assumptions are very, very unrealistic, and I'm shocked that people who run Nigeria at this level, this is the quality of thinking that comes out of their mind.
Okay, let us bring the chairman of the Trade Union Congress from Ekiti State. He also doubles as the chairman, Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools in Ekiti State. Many thanks for joining us, Comrade Shola Adigun. You are a teacher. I'm sure you should be able to give us more insights concerning this issue of UTME and the delays. We just spoke with JAM, and although they were not able to tell us when the results will be released, but Nigerians, students and their parents alike are really, bothered, not just about the release of the result, but also about the issue of failed tests at CBT centers. I just want to get your reaction, concerning all of this.
Good moderator and good morning, viewers at home. The issue of JAM results not be released, it can be so frustrating. It's expected of teachers teaching students, and after a particular period of time, such students will be tested so that you're able to assess the skill, the knowledge, the aptitude he has acquired for that period of time. And JAM is very, very crucial to every Nigerian student because it is the JAM that determines this. And like what I've said is frustrating for students to sat for examination for weeks, and the examination body have announced to the whole world that Immediately after this examination is written, the result will be out. So now I want us to look at this EU critically. And I want to align myself with the guests in the studio. The issue we are having in this country is desperation of certification. And because every student wants to get the certificate,
Comrade Shola Adigun. I was looking at the issue of the UTME 2019 issues arising from the exams. Feel free to interact with us on social media using the hashtag Galaxy Today. You can also send us SMS if you have comments or questions for our guest. In a moment, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
JAMB is not necessary. They should dissolve JAMB, and then universities should handle the exam like before, instead of subjecting our children to double examination. And JAMB is not doing better than the universities. The universities know the quality. You know, it will even the universities will do it better because they want to have their own quality. But this time, JAMB will do all what they want and send to universities. So I am suggesting that JAMB should be disbanded.
The basic problem with Nigeria has always been a somersault of policies. We do not have a system that guarantees a smooth, fluid movement of policies and ideas as per implementation.
If you are using computer, you are marginalizing those from the villages. One, they don't have light. Some villages, some young people in the villages have never seen computer.
All right, welcome back. It is still Galaxy Today. All right, we were speaking with Comrade Shola Adigun just before the break. Comrade, in a moment, and I just want you to just round off your thoughts as per way forward for this getting into tertiary institutions in Nigeria. Okay, I think we are having a signal issue from Ekiti State. That's as much as we can take. We were speaking with Comrade Shola Adigun. He's the chairman of Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools in Ekiti State. He also doubles as the TU chairman in that state. Many thanks once again.
Okay, so he's made his own point, but I want us to look beyond the UTME. I mean, passing UTME is not a sure visa to get into the tertiary institution. There's also what they call post-JAM. What I want to ask is, in my own days, we do UME, and once you pass that, for your for whatever course you're going in for, they have a particular grade. If you have maybe they tell you for this course you have to have 250 or 230 or 240, and once you've mounted that mark, and then your SSC is in order, then you are sure of an admission. But in the case where after the UTME you are still not sure, you still have to undergo a post-JAM, and then some schools are specific about the SSC you're coming with. It has to be Apex or whatever. Now, why should I kill myself over UTME when I'm not even sure of gaining the admission? Or what is the essence of post-JAM? Is that really necessary?
Yeah, we have to understand how we got to post-UTME.
Okay.
For many years, this same JAM was conducting exam that lacked predictive validity.
Okay.
Students get into the university, he scores 380, he gets in for medicine, he gets in for biochemistry, engineering, business administration, and he starts attending classes. Now, his scores do not reflect what teachers are getting from him in terms of the quality of his mind. And this was so pervasive, many students were affected, that then the university said, we can't continue to depend and rely on JAM for recruiting the kind of students we want. So we want to get involved in the process. And so they started campaigning, and and government gave them, the clearance to start doing their own exam. It shouldn't be so, because under normal circumstances, JAMB has the mandate, that's the law, to be the only body that determines who gets into the university, so long as you meet minimum requirements. It remains the law, it hasn't changed. Not long ago, last year, an NGO got a judgment that says stop conducting post-UTME. This same JAMB that is worried about corruption have not implemented the law in collaboration with NUC and the Universities and Ministry of Education. They are violating the law. They are doing things that are illegal, and they are worrying about the illegality of other people. It's a case of, people coming to equity without clean hands. The more fundamental things, these are people who do not respect the law. The law says only JAMB determines who gets what it takes. But unfortunately, JAMB hasn't done a very high quality job over the years. And so the university are saying we can't continue to depend on them. So if we are right, what we should do is to ask ourselves the question, how come JAMB has always been unable to conduct exam that has, predictive validity?
We'll come back to JAMB and its, predictability and every other thing. Let's go to Abuja right now. We have yet another guest joining us, Okechukwu Ezema. He also is a consultant on education matters. Thanks for staying with us. I just want to get your opinion very quickly. I just want you to wrap your thoughts concerning the UTME 2019, the late results, and of course CBT challenges, UTME, post-UTME. Very quickly, you have 5 minutes to do that.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Justin. The issue at hand is quite appalling. The delay in the release of the exam. The delay in the release of the exam is quite an unpleasant situation. Actually, I will let you know that this is a fundamental problem. As a matter of fact, we are trying to pluck good fruits from a bad tree. The JAMB has no capacity to eradicate corruption in infraction in the system, because these are children that came from schools, and the value system needs to be reoriented from the school system. We have teachers that are teaching these students from schools, and the teachers need to do their work well. A student should be able to go to the examination confident. And if that is done, there's no need of any fear in terms of whether they are going to cheat in examination or not. So the federal government needs to get it right from the Senate. We have to put serious value in our educational system. Now, educational system in Nigeria is way behind. Now, we have a situation where we have very low value for our educational system. And if that is the case, there's no way we are going to have excellence in the system if we don't go back to the foundation. For instance, the quality of the teachers we have in educational system is very low. And no nation can actually go or develop beyond the level of educational, the teachers they have in the system. So we have to go back to the foundation. That is where the problem came from. So the federal government needs to put serious value, as I said, in revamping our foundational educational system, ranging from the nursery, primary, secondary, then upwards. Now, is this foundation system that feeds the university. Now, the level of preparation we are able to get these students to come up with, that is what will determine their level of preparedness in getting to the university. So I want to say, suggest that at the Senate level, we have to increase the level of allocation to educational sector vis-a-vis the salary the teachers are receiving, because if the salaries are low, then we will not be able, no matter how much we desire it, we will not be able to attract the good teachers in the system. And what we have right now is that what we have right now in the educational foundation educational system is that the teachers that come there are the people that have looked for jobs elsewhere, and they don't have, they were not able to get their jobs. So they fall back to the teaching profession just to find something to do. And because of that, we cannot, and we will never get the best out of that. And a student can never go beyond what the teacher has, or let me say to a large extent, cannot go beyond what the teacher has been were able to put in the classroom. And if the teacher doesn't know what to teach, how will he be able to impact the right values and teach the subjects very well? First of all, right values. Yes.
Once again to you, Mr. Ezema. All right, we will take some messages before we'll get the closing salvo from Dr. Ogudoro here in Lagos. A lot of people have reacted from their houses or from their offices this morning. My name is Olaoluwa Shegun. Okay, I also sat for the exam. Please, can I know why it is our time that they are not doing this? They should let us know our faith and give us our result. Well, the JAMB registrar is saying they will release results soon. He was not specific as per when. Good morning, Galaxy TV. Please, is it that we will rewrite our house score, or how? Okay, I really don't get it, but I think I got the first part of your question. If there is going to be like a rewritten exam. The JAMB registrar also said he denied reports that the board may cancel half of the results of affected states. So right now, according to them, you may not rewrite your exam. Good morning, sirs. My name is Taiwo Latunji Michael. Seriously, I would like JAMB to be cancelled and make use of the school exam, because outside course nothing like JAMB. Good morning, please. Can you help us ask the registrar when he release our children's result? Well, specifically, they are elusive and evasive. They've not exactly said when they will be releasing the result. What they're telling us is that they're doing some sort of biometric verification. Okay, this one is saying, I think one of the parents who don't want to expose my children to social vices through the use of these phones. So getting it for them is not a problem, but the negative impact about them using it. Okay, thank you so much for your comment. Good day, sir. Please, I would like to confirm whether we are rewriting the exam. No, for now, there's no talk of any rewriting. Okay, okay, one more before I just wrap up with this comment. Your guest, Dr. Ogudoro, has spoken the minds of millions of Nigerians. Okay, don't call, send SMS, and use social media platforms. Your guest, Dr. Ogudoro, has spoken the minds of millions of Nigerians who are concerned with what JAMB is doing. The fault lies with all the major stakeholders: parents, teachers, students, invigilators, etc. Buyer from Igodo in Lagos. Thank you so much, all of you. Just keep the conversation flowing on social media. We can't really take more, okay? Okay, thank you so much. They're just trickling in their numbers. Before we took Abuja, you were summing your thoughts up on the way to go as regards and post-UTME.
Yes, parents and their children should be helped to understand that the current dispensation is such that this UTME result we're waiting for, when it does come, most candidates will pass in quotes. They will score up to the minimum that will enable them to get shortlisted for post-UTME. In universities and polytechnics and colleges of education, we'll be happy to have the cutoff mark that enables them to recruit students for post-UTME to be as low as possible, because that's how they make money from it. Some of them make over $1 billion you know, getting people to write that exam. So most of them will pass. Now, but we have to recognize that this JAMB result they are waiting for is now constituting maximum 33% of what it takes to get to secure admission into the university. Close to 70% of it has nothing to do with your performance in JAMB. Okay? The quality of your school certificate, the NECO, WAEC, or IGCSE result that you have will carry about 33%. And then the exam that the universities themselves will conduct again on these subjects that you have already written with UTME will carry about the same value that UTME carries.
Why the duplicity?
So that's the unjust system that we are living with. Children are paying multiple times to get a simple result. Now, if we run a proper society, if we feel JAMB hasn't been doing well, let's shut it down and create a new system, or empower universities to do it directly. Or throw away all the people who don't know what they're doing in this system. Find the courage to do so and stop listening to their propaganda. By the time they finish, what we will find is that these people who are rigmaroling and not being able to tell us the truth, by the time they finish, they will come out with a squealer who will tell you a fantastic story about what they have done, and people will be clapping hands for them for fighting against corruption. Whereas all of these things are going to be used to cover up their inadequacies. We live in a society where people lack the courage to question people in public service and get them to be accountable to the people. Our young children are being made to believe that they live in a society that does not care. We'll continue to have crimes, we'll continue to have examination malpractice, for you don't live in a society that cares for you. Okay? Children don't even know that this is what is awaiting them. Now, when it gets to the university system where they're going to face post-UTME, the elites who run the system will also strategize and ensure that their own children get in first. Then whatever remains is what the crumbs will be what they give to children of the poor. And of course, you know, we have categorized the higher educations into university, federal universities, state universities, and then private universities. Then you have polytechnics and colleges of education. Children of the very poor go to colleges of education and polytechnics. Children whose parents have, you know, small jobs that give them up to 40,000 naira go to state universities. Those who work in banks, on the oil companies, and children of politicians are the ones who go to federal universities. And those who are very rich, who are making money, extra money, send their children abroad. Okay? So this whole system we have put in place is not going to cater for the majority of these young people who have written this exam. And even if we finish at the end of the day with something that may look like is credible, we are not going to give access to more than about 20-25% of all these people who are waiting for the result. So it's useless. So parents and their children must resort to self-help. If I had all the resources in the world, if government can come in and be honest, I will come out, you know, and go to places where we can do seminars and educate parents on what to do at a time like this. Unfortunately, you don't have companies there that can sponsor things that have to do with young people and parents who are poor. I will come and give that service for free. We are not doing a good job here. Okay? So, yeah.
All right.
So it's very unfortunate. So it's a very complicated system, and the children of the poor will continue to remain poor. We are not in a society that has been built to promote social migration. The poor will continue to go down.
Okay, this one says, I'm just tempted to take more comment. Good morning, I'm just joining your program. Please, I want to know what is expected of the UTME candidate. Well, right now, JAMB is asking you to wait and be patient. Okay, this one says, good day. I love the way Doctor in the house is analyzing this matter, because the UTME man himself did not write JAMB during his own school days, but now he's introducing a computer-based test. This one is saying that the paper the man brought out the other time wasn't given to us, and the thing is, the paper was given to math students only. Now, when is the result coming out? Can't we have our result immediately we finish our exams? That's the way to go. JAMB is saying the result. Let me quote exactly what they said, because most of the comments are basically about when the result will be released. The JAMB registrar specifically said soon. He was not specific as per the exact date. He just said the result will be released very soon when they're done with the biometric verification. I'm sorry, I really don't have maybe the news or the answer you want to get, but that's what we are getting right now from the authorities of JAMB. Well, that's as much as we can take on the show today. It has really been very, very revealing, very, very instructive, and of course very informative. Many thanks to Dr. Peter Ogudoro for joining us on the show. We do appreciate it.
That's been my pleasure.
Thank you so much. And a big thanks to Okechukwu Ezema, educational consultants from Abuja, as well as to Olushola Kui, Zonal Coordinator JAMB Ibadan from Oyo State, and Comrade Shola Adigun, Chairman, Academic Staff Union of Secondary Schools, Ekiti, Ekiti State. Thank you also for being part of this program. We'll be back at 10 tomorrow where we'll be looking at health. I'm Uche Onyekuruje. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
And I am Justin Academy. I don't know, I'm smiling. A lot of people are still sending SMS to talk to Jam. Okay, I'm sure Jam is listening. That's our show for today. Bye for now. We'll see you tomorrow.